When it comes to tattoo colour packing, especially with apprentices, I see a common problem that most of them seem to share, and that's they're usually quite confident packing the darker cold colours like blues, purples, greens, but the wheels tend to fall off when it comes to packing warmer colours like yellows, pinks, reds, oranges, just to name a few. Then it goes from bad to worse when the client turns up to the studio weeks later to show the healed tattoo has absolutely no ink left in it and the skin is pretty beat up as well. Well guys, that all changes today. Not only am I going to show you how to pack those stubborn colours, backed up by theory and a live practical demonstration, I'm also going to give you the confidence to know that your tattoos are going to heal well when your client leaves the studio. Before we get into this video guys, I just want 20 seconds of your time just to make a quick announcement and address an issue which many of you subscribers have picked up on lately on recent videos. Looking through the comment sections, I know quite a lot of you have noted something different about me in recent uploads. Well, to address this, for the last few months, I've been battling a very cruel and very serious health condition. Some of you have noticed I've put on a little bit of weight. Some of you have also noticed that my speech isn't quite as sharp as it used to be, but I just wanted to put this announcement out there to address this and let you all know that this channel is what drives me forward. It's my passion, it's what I absolutely love to do. And recently we hit the 100k subscriber milestone, which means the actual world to me. So it's really important that I say a massive thank you to everyone that supported the channel over the years that's helped me reach the 100k milestone. The issue that I just spoke about, I am currently documenting, and for anyone who is interested in following my personal journey, I will be uploading a series of vlogs in the near future documenting my personal journey. So with all that said guys, enough of all that, let's jump straight into the good stuff. Hey everyone, welcome to this video, and as you guys know, I don't like to recycle old information and keep everything fresh on the channel, so for that reason this video is like an addition or a bonus content video off the back of a colour packing video which I uploaded a while ago. So if you haven't seen that video already, I strongly recommend that you watch that video first, as that video actually focuses on the technique that you actually need to pack colour into the skin. You can view that video by clicking on the card I'm putting on the screen right now, or you can go in this video's description box and click on the link. So assuming that you've already seen that video and you've got the technique down, this video is going to solely focus on getting you up to speed on why you're not able to correctly pack those stubborn colours like yellow. So in this video I'm going to be guiding you through why colours like yellow don't appear to be packing in the skin, why they don't heal well, and more importantly, giving you the confidence to take on that client that comes in with a design with lots of stubborn colours in it, and instead of you trying to convince them not to have that nice vibrant yellow sunflower in the design and saying, hey, why don't we change that to a nice dark blue sunflower, because everybody likes dark blue sunflowers, right? Or still, you actively turn down jobs on your portfolio because you're afraid of a simple thing like colours of the design, or you're afraid the client is going to return weeks later knowing that the ink has fell out altogether when it's fully healed. So with all that said guys, let's not waste any more time and get straight into it. The trap I see a lot of apprentices fall into is that they seem to be able and therefore confident on packing cold colours into the skin like blues and purples, but as soon as they switch to the warm colours, they just can't seem to achieve the saturation. They'll have a good technique going, but often once the surface ink is wiped away from the skin, the colour isn't vibrant at all. It's really patchy, and then this leads to developing a serious lack of confidence to even tackle these sort of colours on any design. In my opinion, the main reason for this is because it's easier for the artist to get their heads around packing cold colours because of the visual aspect and inspection of the skin after the colour has been tattooed and the surface ink has been wiped away. Often with cold colours, the skin will be left with a nice looking saturated piece of ink which isn't patchy and is nice and solid. That's providing that the correct colour packing technique has been applied. So now let's take a look at where it all goes wrong when the warm stubborn colours like the dreaded yellow gets tattooed. The biggest problem I hear about and see apprentices struggle with regards to colours like yellow is actually when it comes to packing the ink into the skin. They seem to really struggle with any sort of decent saturation. Sometimes artists even complain that the colour turns to a different colour once tattooed. the skin gets beaten up and the end result is quite bad, and furthermore will probably fall out during the healing process. So in this next section, we're going to take a closer examination at exactly what happens, and more importantly, to show you how to fix this problem. When all skin is tattooed, it's natural to get a little bit of tiny pinhead spot-like bleeding. Now, I'm not talking about a client dripping with blood, which I have seen from time to time at the odd studio, and if this is the case, then I'm telling you straight, your technique is wrong, because no client should be dripping with blood whilst getting tattooed. But back to the pinprick-sized little pieces of blood known as capillary bleeding is normal. After all, you're ultimately puncturing the human skin literally thousands of times over and over with a needle, so it's natural to expect a little bit of capillary bleeding and a little bit of skin irritation. So here's the massive misconception that apprentices have, and where I personally think everything goes wrong. When they pack ink like black or blue or purple and wipe the skin, because the ink is so dark, it actually disguises the blood and sometimes the irritated skin, so the artist confidently continues to pack the ink with the skin looking saturated, bold, and absolutely no signs of patchiness or ink seemingly changing colour. So here's what happens when an apprentice attempts to pack colour like yellow. The exact same technique is applied with regards to actually packing the colour. This doesn't change whatsoever. Some people think it's a different technique to pack warmer colours, but it's the exact same as the darker colours. The problem that occurs is the visual problem, almost tricking the artist into thinking the colour hasn't been packed correctly. This is because the capillary bleeding we spoke about, you can now actually see coming through the skin. And because the colour of the ink is so warm and light, in this case yellow, it doesn't disguise the blood or the irritation the needles are causing to the skin. So in essence, you get an uncensored front row seat of the small amounts of trauma the needles are actually causing the skin, which shows straight through the freshly packed ink. The thing apprentices need to realise is that they're confident at packing dark and cold colours. They should maintain the same technique and confidence whilst packing warm colours, regardless of the visual aspect after they wipe down the skin. This is because although you can now actually see the blood spots and see the skin irritation, redness, that's also still happening with the cold colours. It's only because you can now see it happening that the artist doubts themselves, and instead of packing the colour and moving on to the next section of skin, they focus on the irritation that looks patchy and decide to repack over the same area because they don't feel that the ink has gone into the skin. In this situation, this is the worst thing that you can possibly do at this point, and nothing will improve and only get worse from here on. The more times you go over the same area, the more blood you're going to create, and ultimately this can lead to skin being seriously overworked, resulting often in the ink not being able to heal properly, falling out within weeks, or even worse, the client being scarred from all the extra trauma caused to the skin. So the next thing we need to learn is how to confidently pack the ink so it's nice and solid and saturated, and examine the common mistake that most apprentices make when trying to achieve this. So let's take a closer look at what's happening in the skin when we tattoo colours like yellow. The needles obviously penetrate the skin, and then the capillary bleeding occurs. This is the first reason why many artists say the ink changes colour. It's not actually changing colour, but because the colour is so light, in this case yellow, it's actually mixing with the blood, which is essentially red in colour, and this will inevitably make freshly tattooed yellow look an orange colour because obviously yellow and red make orange. This is where an apprentice can start to panic and get really upset with themselves and decide to quit altogether. Well guys, we're not quitting today because the solution is very, very simple. So let's say you've tattooed some yellow and it's looking patchy and angry. Resist the temptation to go back into it and instead add one of your wipes to it, which is saturated in your green soap, and leave it on it. Then just move on to the next section of yellow. This is sometimes known as letting the tattoo sweat out, and you'll see the ink coming through the wet paper towel. Ignore the temptation of re-going over that. And finally, when that's had a good rest, remove the paper towel. Once the tattoo's had time to cool down and calm down underneath the towel, once you remove it, you'll notice that the irritation and the redness goes, and all the blood goes, and the yellow ink will start to look more saturated, more like yellow. So it's going to look a little angry with the skin irritation, a little red underneath. But if you don't overwork it, obviously the goal is to have a nice healed tattoo with a vibrant warm colour. So in this next section coming up, I'm going to be covering a live demonstration of basically everything that you've just watched in the animation, but on real skin, and showing you just how it all comes together. And finally, I'm going to be showing you the completed healed tattoo, just to show how warm colours can heal nice and vibrant without being beat up, patchy, all falling out. Okay guys, so here we go, and just obviously sped the video up here, just using that colour packing technique. And you can see how red the tattoo is looking with that yellow. That's just the capillary bleeding which we spoke about. Been a little wipe there. So this is what we spoke about in the animation, just leaving a saturated wipe on top of that yellow. We're carrying on down the side here, and you can see how patchy that looks. I've really zoomed in on that. You can see between the line and the yellow, there's obviously lots of patchiness there, and that's primarily because I didn't want to go over the lines with the mag. The mag was just too wide for that particular area, so I'd probably opt to go back in there with either a round liner or possibly a round shader just to get those tight areas. But you can see the amount again of the capillary bleeding just coming from the face there, and it's just a matter of saturating those wipes with your green soap. And this is the end of the tattoo. And any warm colours like this, a little hack for you, I like to spray a lot of green soap on the tattoo, which helps cool it down massively. And it's always a good idea just to give it a few minutes, let the client just sit, maybe 5-10 minutes, and just let the tattoo sweat out, which will really reduce that final irritation. And that's the end of the tattoo there. There is a time lapse of this from start to finish. I'll put the card up on the screen if anyone's interested in watching it. I think it lasts 3 minutes from start to finish. So that's the tattoo when it's just been done, and this is it when it's fresh. So that's fully healed, and you can see there's no patchiness on there, no ink has fell out on it, it's not faded at all, and that's packed in a nice vibrant yellow warm colour. Thank you so much for watching this video guys, and if you just give me 20 seconds, I'm going to jump into the super thanks section for all you awesome subscribers that were kind enough to leave a super thanks in the last video uploads, and it's just my gift from me to you, giving you an on-screen mention and saying thank you. Welcome to the super thanks section of the channel, and this is basically a new feature rolled out by YouTube, and it's kind of like tipping your waiter or your waitress when a video's really resonated with you and helped you out. You can go into the like section and leave a super thanks. Now it goes without saying guys, I'm super appreciated to anyone that leaves a super thanks, and to show my appreciation back to you guys as subscribers, for everyone that does leave a super thanks on the previous videos, the next video upload, just like this section now, I give you all a personal shout out, on-screen mention, just to say thank you all, you're so awesome, and I really appreciate it. It doesn't matter which video that you leave the super thanks on, because I always get the notification and your name will definitely be mentioned on the following upload. Thank you again for watching guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Stay up to date with all my latest uploads by checking that notification bell. Well, that's it guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.